And we're back on CentralValleyTalk.com. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm Mike Scott, joined right now by Jared Gordon, who just joined McCormick Barstow. You went corporate on us.
Yeah, that's right.
What brought you to McCormick Barstow?
So my practice, I had a solo practice for 2 years, and I was on your show once within my solo practice. And
right.
I just was getting to the point that I was getting enough work that I either was going to have to look for someone to help me do either some of the administrative tasks or maybe even another attorney. I thought it was easier to go somewhere where they already had all of that support, and they were looking for someone new on the lateral level, and they made me an offer that I was agreeable to, and so I am now with McCormick Barstow and have been since mid-August.
Cool. You're in the new building up there by River Park.
I am, yes.
Beautiful new building that McCormick Barstow has. And I just found out McCormick Barstow has offices all across the country. I thought they were just a Fresno, but you said Modesto, Vegas,
yes. So
Denver?
We're the largest firm in the Central Valley, but we also have offices outside of the Central Valley. So our main office is in Fresno. That's where the majority of the attorneys are and the majority of staff. We also have a Modesto office with about 10 attorneys, a Las Vegas office with a similar number, 6 attorneys in Seattle, 3 in Cincinnati, and also a Denver office.
Huh.
It's just getting started, but we're probably going to expand further. We are, sort of a regional law firm now, and trying to expand more regionally.
Always a need for more attorneys. All right, today you want to talk about the life cycle of what you call the average business. And I said, is there such a thing as an average business?
And I think you're right that there isn't such a thing as an average business, but there are some things that all businesses, sort of by virtue of the laws in our society, have in common in terms of how they need to interact with lawyers and what lawyers can do to help businesses. So when they start, people have a choice about how they're going to start their business, and many people just start as sole proprietors. I'm sure that's the case, for instance, for the woman who was on earlier who designs jewelry. She's probably a sole proprietor. She, just
probably doesn't have an attorney.
Yeah, she probably doesn't have an attorney.
Should she?
Well, maybe not yet. Maybe
Yeah.
she should. It depends on how much revenue she's bringing, how
Okay.
much risk she has. But once you start having employees, it's really important at that point to protect yourself, to protect your business, that you form some kind of entity. So it's not just you and your house, your car at risk if something goes wrong. So at that point you want to look at whether you're going to form a corporation, a limited
LLC.
liability company, which is what most of the time these days people do. You can do partnerships depending on the arrangement and whether you have multiple people and you want to do certain kinds of things. Sometimes partnerships can even make sense. There's also a new kind of business form that California and a couple other states have called a B corporation, and it's a special corporation where you don't have to maximize profits. That's not the legal
What?
goal. Yes, it's unusual.
What?
So what it does is that you can have a social mission. So let's say that you want to change the world, but you think you can make some money with the way that you want to change the world. You can adopt a B corporation, and your goals can be simultaneously making money and fulfilling some kind of social promise.
Give me an example of what kind of business that would be.
So mostly in California, they've been energy-related businesses so far. So people doing alternative energy sometimes form B corporations. If you want to develop a way to make oil out of algae that also sucks CO2 out of the air, for instance, that's one of the sort of initial users of the B corporation designation. They are not going to make money right away. They may not make money ever, but they might be able to make a lot of money if they make their process work on a commercial level. And so for that kind of company, it can make sense to be a B corporation and not something else, so that people know what they're getting into.
Okay. So the next cycle of the business is what?
Yeah, so after you sort of decide what kind of entity you want to be, you have to figure out how you're going to govern that, because usually you're going to have investors. Those investors are going to want to have some kind of protection. If there's 2 people who are partners or something like that who are starting the business together, maybe there's more than 2 people, you've got to work out some way to deal with disagreements, because just like a marriage and any time when you have 2 or more founders that are part of a business, it's like a business marriage. That's the way I like to think of it. You have to figure out a way to resolve differences, and so you're going to want to have an attorney help you set up rules to resolve those differences. It's very straightforward. It can be even relatively inexpensive. because there's a lot of sort of off-the-shelf solutions to those problems that people have worked with for a long time. But that's something that really any business needs to do once they get to the point where there's more than one person involved. Once you have your business up and running, you're going to want to have employees. Employees in the state of California mean risk, potentially a lot of risk depending on the kind of employees and the number of employees that you have. You have to pay them the right way, at the right times, the right amounts, get your overtime right, your breaks right. There's all kinds of rules limiting discrimination and other kinds of workplace duties, workplace safety rules, disability accommodation and disability rules. And so dealing with all of that is the kind of thing that normal people really, frankly, shouldn't want to do. They should focus on
It's your job.
That's right. They should focus on how to run their business best. And, I'm an attorney. I don't know how to run your business, but I do know something about how employers can employ employees safely and, without running into problems with plaintiffs' attorneys and running into problems with the government. So you should delegate that kind of work to someone who spends their day and it's their job to do that kind of work. Learning it yourself is a recipe for future heartache. And unfortunately, that's something that we see all the time, and it keeps the litigators in McCormick Barstow busy.
Paid for that big new building you have up there.
That's right. So it's one of those.
You got to wrap it up, Jared. But what do you
Sure.
want?
So this is one of those things where an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And if you start things out well, then you can do very well, and then you can come to us when you want to talk about your exit and sell your business to someone, and we'll help you with that as well.
Boy, so you're there from the beginning to the end.
That's right. So we're all about the life cycle, the whole business, and we can help you any step of the way, including when you get sued. And in California, unfortunately, that will happen.
Yeah. I'm sure you probably noticed he's wearing a red, white, and blue tie and his little I voted sticker.
That's right. As Al mentioned, in my non-work hours, I am a very political animal, and I did the political academy with him and spend a fair amount of my time doing political stuff, and I'm advising some election observers today.
Are we going to see a Republican-controlled Congress before the end of the day?
I think, well,
Senate?
certainly House, yes. Senate, probably, but I don't know for sure. And I will say that by December, I think yes, but there are two races, Georgia and Louisiana, that might go into runoffs. Depending on how the other races fall, it might come down to one or both of those having to flip.
All right. We'll talk more politics next time you're on. Jared, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right. From McCormick Barstow, Jared Gordon, to take care of all of your legal needs. All right. Thanks for joining us today. We'll be back again tomorrow with more of Central Valley Talk.